When you find yourself in a hole, quit digging. Wise words from Will Rogers. Hello and welcome back to another episode of our Civilization 6 playthrough. It is time for us to start making some very serious progress. We just finished our research for mining, and we're going to shift over to research of astrology so we can start building our holy sites and shrines and Stonehenge. We got a lot of stuff that we want to make. But before we even move any further, we're going to use our builders finally to build some mines. Boom! Our knowledge of the wheel has increased by building a mine. And our second mine coming in hot. Boom! Your progress towards craftsmanship has been boosted considerably. So, we made a lot of progress. This builder that we got from the tribal village, insanely beneficial. And we're also going to be able to put a mine on this Mercury as well. But because we're getting so much production and gold from these these things, it's actually very tempting for me to shift my city, my people to. There's something weird going on here. Oh my gosh. Okay. I completely lost my train of thought because of a dumb UI bug, but it sorted itself out. I changed around the position of my citizens. One population is working on the diamonds in the mines. The other population is in the farms. Unfortunately, it's going to take us a long time to grow because we're not getting a lot of food. But it is what it is. We're going to have to work with that. We're going to have to deal with it for now. We are getting a lot of gold. And we are getting a lot of faith. So I have faith that something good is going to come of that. But it's going to be interesting. So what we're going to try to do now is, like I was saying before, we're going to try and discover a natural wonder in order to trigger the Eureka for astrology. Because I would love to get that boosted so I can make some holy sites next to rivers and get a benefit from the pantheon that I selected. That I'm slightly regretting, just a tiny little bit. But if we can capitalize on it and get some nice benefit from it, that would be amazing. Now, we do have a barbarian warrior creeping close to our territory. And ideally, I don't want to fight any barbarians till I finish Code of Laws. And I suppose now's as good a time as any to talk about it. There's a special thing called policy cards, which you unlock once you finish the Code of Law Civic. And one of the policies is called Discipline. And your units gain +5 combat strength when fighting against barbarians. And that 5 combat strength does a lot for us. It's very beneficial. But since this warrior is damaged a little bit, we may not even need that to take him out. So you know what? I'm going to move my slinger into position and throw some pebbles at his face. Boom, 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 boom. There's also another Eureka that gets triggered by killing a unit with a slinger, so that would be pretty nice if we can get that. Boom. And we'll get our builder ready to move on top of the Mercury so we can put an improvement on that. This one can just go back to town and go to sleep. Boom. Ooh, there's another one. We got ourselves a little battle going on here. And we did it. We triggered the Eureka for archery. Now, something we've got to be very careful about is getting units killed. Because, again, because of the marathon difficulty, it takes us forever to build units. So anytime a unit dies, it's basically like we wasted the last hour. So we definitely don't want that to happen. And we do want to get a mine, and our knowledge of apprenticeship has increased considerably. Boom. We're doing a lot of good things. I'm happy. Got my juice with me. You know. It's kind of cloudy outside, which is a little depressing, but I got juice. That makes me feel good. I don't think I ever told this story before, but one time I had a juice with me. It was one of those juices where you pour the flavor packs into the water and you shake it up. And so I pour the flavor pack in the kitchen, put the cap back on, and start shaking up the water. But I didn't turn the cap all the way. It wasn't tight enough. So I get back into the bedroom where my computer is, and I'm shaking the bottle. And I was hype at the time. I was playing a game, and I paused it for a second to go get the juice. And I'm shaking the bottle, And then I shake it a couple more times and I squeezed it. And the cap flew off. Juice goes everywhere. Whoosh, splashing. It's crazy. And just one little droplet of juice. It flies in the air and I see it moving in slow motion. And it lands on top of my desktop, on top of the tower. And my tower at the time, and still to this day, has a vent on the top for a fan. And the juice, I watched it fall in slow motion onto my tower. And it hit the motherboard. The CPU, it went... A little bit of fire came out. Computer shut down. And it was over. It was the saddest moment ever. So I feel very strange. I have a mixed feeling about drinking things, anything near my computer, because I've had many accidents that have cost a considerable amount of money and caused a considerable amount of frustration. I even had, what's even crazier is I had somebody at my house the other day, and wait a minute. Forget the story. The slinger's getting beat up by the warrior barbarian, and this is actually getting pretty bad. I think we're gonna run. I feel like running is probably the better idea right now, because I really don't want this guy to die. Yeah, we're getting the hell out of here. We're gonna do a little bit of that, and then we're going to put our guy on top of a hill, so that'll give him a combat bonus when these guys try to attack him from not on a hill, and then we'll go to the next turn. Whew, that could have been ugly. So I had somebody over at the house the other day, and they had a water, and I told them, hey, listen, man, you can drink it in here, but if you spill this shit on my computer, I'll kill you. I didn't say that, but I wanted to. But I just told them, don't spill shit by my computer. And then, you know how people, you ever have somebody when you tell them not to do something, they pretend that they're going to do it. They say, oh, don't worry, I'm not going to spill. Whoop, 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 whoop. And they pretend to spill. Don't do that. Don't ever do that. Don't ever do some foolishness like that. My heart skipped a beat. I was ready to kill this man. It was terrible. Because even I've spilled more things since that one time when I... What do you want, Trajan? You say you're just negotiating in your people's best interest. But I think you're jealous of my relationships. Man, get out of here, Trajan. Because I spilled something on my computer recently. I spilled something on my speakers. How did it happen? I don't know. I was probably being careless. But either way, our warrior right here, we're doing something interesting that I like to do all the time for Civ 6 combat, is fortifying units and keeping them defensive. So because our guy is standing on top of a hill, we get an advantage for that. And when we fortify, that is going to improve our defenses as well if we stay fortified. And same goes for our slinger, and also fortified units heal at the end of every turn. So these guys are just going to stay here, and they're going to protect the slinger while they heal up, and the warrior is going to take a lot of damage, but because he's fortified, he's going to be able to deal more damage in return. At this point, though, I'm pretty sure I can get the kill on these guys without having to worry too much. But you saw the 10 health pop up right there. That was the fortification giving him some healing. But I do feel confident that we can kill this guy without any casualties. Bop, bop. Well, we lost one, but we came in, smacked him in the head, and it's all good. I still want that camp, though. Ooh. This is why Trajan was getting an attitude, because I found a city-state. The thing with city-states, for anybody that doesn't know, again, I just want to explain the mechanics as best as I can. So if you don't play Civ, you at least kind of know what's going on. So city-states are essentially like mini-Civs. They never build more than one city. They don't declare war with you, but they do improve the one city that they do have and make buildings and stuff, but their main benefit is providing you with benefits. They love to help you out. So this city-state is a science city-state, so if we can send an envoy to them, they will give us +2 science in our capital. If we send them 3 envoys, we get +2 science in every library that we have, etc., etc. There's more and more benefits, and there's a lot of different types of city-states that provide different types of benefits. So I would like to make friends with these guys, and for anybody that doesn't know, why do I keep saying that? We get envoys by completing research in the civics tree. So certain ones give envoys. There it is. There's the envoy picture. So certain researches in the civic tree give you envoys. And in order to capitalize on that, you just gotta go down the right paths and get the right things, and you just gotta be cognizant of where you're spending your envoys, make sure you're spending them on the right ones, and etc. etc. Burped a little bit too much juice, right? Yeah. So there you go. So I'm going to put this warrior back on Fortify until healed, so he's going to stay there and continuously heal up. And I'm going to bring my second slinger out, get them ready to siege this barbarian encampment. Hopefully it's still there by the time we get there. I don't know if Trajan is trying to take it or not. But our population is growing incredibly slowly right now, which is a bit disconcerting. But we don't have a lot of food. There's nothing we can do to really change that. We could shift now that we do have our thing. We've got both of our military units. We've got 2 slingers and a warrior, so that's pretty comfortable. We don't have to worry as much about production. So what I could do is shift off of the mines and go to the fish. And this is the UI bug I was talking about. The thing is not updating correctly. Yeah, so you know what? If we shift over to the fish instead of the mine, then our city will grow a little bit faster. And as we get more people, we'll get more production anyway. Got more barbarians getting pumped out. Well, that's not good. 1 turn away from Code of Laws. So again, we have to retreat our slinger, bring our warrior back on top of the hill. Well, he's fortified already, so I don't have to move on top of the hill. But I'll move back on top of the hill anyway. It doesn't look like we're going to make any aggressive plays here. When you capture a barbarian camp, you get gold, and it's also part of a Eureka that I would like to trigger for a pretty important policy somewhere. Oh, no, I heard. No, it's a civic. If this isn't the most boring episode that has ever existed, I don't know what is. So we just finished the Code of Laws thing, so I'm going to finally put in the thing that gives us barbarian, whatchamacallit. Okay. Stop. Let's take a moment. Hold on. We just finished Code of Laws. We just got the discipline policy. Units gain 5 combat strength against barbarians. There's another policy that we get to select for economics. I'm going to go with urban planning. Gives us an additional production in all cities. That is going to be incredibly helpful. God King is valuable as well, but it's a bit more valuable if you don't have a Pantheon. But we do have a Pantheon because of that cross that we got with the grapes hanging on it or whatever. So discipline and urban planning are now our policies. Whew, okay. I was getting a little sidetracked there for a minute. Now we got to choose a new research. I'm just going to go for... Yeah, okay. So I'm going to go for the foreign trade civic, and then I'm going to go for early empire next. So, yeah, it's going to take 41 turns to do this, so we're not in a hurry. I'm hearing talk that your people want to celebrate your rule. Nice job keeping them happy. Yeah. So on the bright side to everything... despite the fact that I was a little bit scatterbrained for the majority of this episode, and there's a plane flying over my building right now, my civilization is actually doing pretty well. So I guess before we close out, why don't we look and see exactly why Wilhelmina is complimenting us on how well we're doing. Okay, so Wilhelmina is very happy with us because our city is happy, but there's a lot of stuff that goes into that. We have +3 amenities right now, and that is causing our city and our people to be ecstatic. And that's increasing our citizen growth by 20% and our non-food yields by an additional 10%. But what makes that doubly exciting is Robert the Bruce's special characteristic. Robert the Bruce has Scottish enlightenment. Happy cities receive an additional 5% science and 5% production. The second part of that buff does not apply to us, so I'm not going to read it out right now. But all of that stuff is doubled when our cities are ecstatic. So we're getting an extra 10% science and an extra 10% production. And that feels actually really amazing. So it's only going to take us 18 turns to get our population up to 3. We're building a monument right now, and that's going to take 26 turns. It's kind of a lot, but, you know, it's a marathon, so it is what it is. But overall, things are going pretty well. So I'm going to take a break. I'm going to play a couple of turns ahead and allow myself to get a drink, maybe get something to eat. And when we come back, we're going to continue trudging along. Well, maybe before we end, we should look at this bronze, tan, sexy motherfucker right here. Look at this guy. This is ridiculous. This makes me a little uncomfortable, honestly. If you met somebody like this, would you feel uncomfortable? It's not because he's brown. It's because he's not wearing a shirt. All right, we're going to wrap it up here. The name of the game is Civilization 6. The name of the channel is iBluairJgR Gaming for Comedy. If you enjoyed this video, don't forget to like, subscribe, and leave a comment. Let me know how you'd feel about somebody walking up to you shirtless and saying, "Hey, buddy, my nipple's out." Thank you for watching, and I'll